I got the card here for you.
What's up, everybody? We're here to do the NXT review, or predictions. I keep calling it review, even though it hasn't happened yet. You know, I went to NXT Lowell the other day, and I'm telling you, like, this show has got to beat that, because NXT Lowell was so good the other day that I thought to myself, I was like, man, if NXT Takeover is better than this, then we scored. Like, we made out, or I made out, because I got to see, like, I'd probably give that Lowell show that I saw the other day like an 8 out of 10. You know, maybe if I'd seen it on TV, I would have given it a 7.5 out of 10 or something. But I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10 being there and what I saw. Velveteen Dream stole the show with Pete Dunne. It was, honestly, I thought that Adam Cole and EC3 was going to be the match. And then I thought Mustache Mountain versus Undisputed was going to be the match of the night. And then I couldn't believe it, man. Velveteen Dream and Pete Dunne stole the show. It was phenomenal. The fact that that match isn't going to be seen tonight on TakeOver is a crime, because it was so goddamn good. It was amazing. But anyway, let's get into tonight. Jake's got the card. We're going to rattle through it really quickly because Jake has to go in a minute. And honestly, I'm on my laptop upstairs and the internet may not hold out. There's a thunderstorm. It's all kinds of crazy here. What's up, everybody in the chat? I do not have donations on right now, so just FYI, the donation alerts are not on. If you want to super chat a question, that you can do, and I'll read the super chat. But my laptop is such a piece of shit, I can't do anything on it right now. But when I'm live later, you can donate and all that stuff. Jake, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I certainly wish I got to see that. I saw some clips of Velveteen Dream Pete Dunne on YouTube, and I got to see the finish, and that just looked incredible. By the way, you and Connor said it.
Someone uploaded
amazing. It? Yeah, there was 2 clips on Twitter, and one that was like the ending. You could see barely anything. People were like screaming. And
I hope somebody uploads the whole. I wish they had the whole match because it's so good. Like, I mean, really, it's really good.
I'm surprised there hasn't been an upload yet of the entire, card, because usually people do state, like, there's always somebody that records it from start to finish. So I
had a couple of little good moments, but I didn't get anything near the whole.
Yeah,
thing.
your footage looked great for what I did see. So
footages.
Tonight we got Brooklyn 4, baby. NXT Takeover Brooklyn 4. Hard to believe this is the 4th NXT in Brooklyn for Takeover.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, man. It was like yesterday.
You think back to all the classic matches we've seen already. We're going to start off the night, I believe, with Velveteen Dream versus EC3. At least that's first on my NXT predictions card. This feud started back in London when Dream walked out on EC3 during their tag match, and it's going to come to a head tonight. They're going to square off one-on-one. There's no belt on the line, obviously, so we're going to, kind of assuming that whoever wins this is going to start heading towards the NXT title, or at least start making a claim to being the #1 contender. This is a really hard call for me here. I think Velveteen Dream can recover better if he loses.
Yeah, he's got the Bray Wyatt effect.
Yeah, that kind of like, I can lose, but I'm so enigmatic and charismatic that so long as he looks really good in the match, he can pull off a loss, because I really think EC3 needs a big win here. His first EC3's debut was at the ladder match, right, for the NXT title?
It's been kind of lackluster for EC3. He needs to do something, yeah.
Yeah, he debuted in that North American title match, and from there, hasn't really had a huge, gigantic win. So I think EC3 is going to go over Velveteen Dream here.
Mexican Pisshead said they just opened the doors of the Barclays Center. So here's the thing, though. Selfishly, I want Velveteen to win and become the NXT champion, because that would be epic. Can you imagine him being the champion coming out there? But probably not going to happen. Seems like everything we're hearing is that he's going to come up to the main roster. So selfishly, I don't want him to go to the main roster. So that's the problem. Like, yeah,
no, undoubtedly so.
But he's going to go.
I want to see him get ruined.
I want to see him entering a takeover event with that title, like kissing the title and like coming into the ring with that belt. Like, he would have an entrance of like Shawn Michaels style, with that belt. It would be so good. He pulls off what he does so well. It's amazing, man. Like, he really does. That crowd the other night, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say either. I'm going to say probably EC3, yeah, because he needs a win. But I wish Velveteen Dream would stay in NXT and become the champion there and never go to the main roster. But
yeah, I mean, even if he had to hold the North American title at this point, I just want to see him be a champion.
I just want to see him in NXT. I'm worried about the main roster.
That's it.
You want to see him in the main roster because you're like, cool, that'd be cool to see him on the main roster. But yeah, it sounds cool, but it's never going to end up. I mean, maybe it will, but it only would work. Again, it only works if like everybody's on board with him being there.
Yeah, he's another one where it's like very unique, and his gimmick got over with the. I hate calling them smart fans, but that's lack of a better word. But like the real hardcore fans, and I don't know if it would translate that well unless they handled it with kid gloves and gave him one hell of a build to the main roster.
I think he would like end up being a heel, like to casual fans. They'd be like, "This guy's kind of a douche," but it's like, no, he's great.
It's just. It's certainly, it'd have to be very carefully handled. So, but yeah, EC3, I envision him needing the win more. So I think he's going to take over tonight, pun intended.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the NXT Tag Team Championship match. Undisputed Era are defending their tag team titles against Mustache Mountain. This is, their third time we're seeing them face each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had them in London, and then we saw them again with the rematch on TV, and that's when they got the belts back. So, this essentially is the rubber match between the two. And, 7 and 8 are just amazing together. And I have to think Undisputed Era might lose the titles tonight.
Yeah, they're really over Mustache Mountain is right now, based on the pop and Lowell.
Yeah.
I wonder. You may see them take the belts tonight. So I'm going with Mustache Mountain tonight too. Yeah,
that just seems to be a solid bet.
I also think
I think the NXT North American title would come before this, and Adam Cole is going to play into them losing as well.
Really?
Yeah, not to spoil prediction there, but I think if Adam Cole does lose, I think he's definitely going to play a role into what happens in the tag team championship match.
Man, I would so think that they would go opposite times, but that's that could happen. I guess I thought it'd be the opposite.
Yeah, I have some sort of inkling that if we see Cole and Ricochet go, at it, and then they go ahead and, Adam Cole comes out to support the Undisputed Era, and then he costs either, Roderick Strong or Kyle O'Reilly the belt inadvertently, but
yeah,
because he's no longer champion, no one can be kind of idea.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be really weird if that happened. That does not happen often, that a single leader comes out and screws up the underlings tag team. That's I don't think that's going to happen, but if that happened, that would be a rare time. Normally you would see the tag team guys come out and
cost the leader. Yeah,
they would cost him. Yeah,
especially with Fish being back. Adam Cole was kind of like not a fill-in. I hate saying that, but they added
not Adam
him
Cole.
late.
You mean Roderick Strong?
Yeah, sorry, Roderick Strong. But I'm saying now that Fish is back, it's like I don't know. It seems like they might want to recycle members for Undisputed Era.
You think that Bobby Fish will join up with Adam Cole and he'll eliminate the other two guys?
That, or they're going to just remove Adam Cole from the Undisputed Era.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would they? Wow, why would they do that?
There's been some rumors of him possibly coming up to the main roster soon, and I think he would need to be NXT champion again. It could work out. We could see him, go for the main title feud. But
so you think that they're going to call up
Adam Cole?
Adam Cole now?
I heard that not that long ago, and kind of makes sense. They're in need of some more star power. You're going to try and transition some other people into heel roles after SummerSlam. So
NXT's in trouble if they call Velveteen and Adam Cole up because they're missing power then.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. When they do this, they always manage to call up a couple at a time, and we always say, "Oh wow, they're losing a lot of star power."
Yep.
And then they always create new stars.
Yeah, I mean,
we've said it time and time again. We're like, oh wow, I can't even begin to imagine when insert name here leaves. What are they going to do? What about their women's division when they lose Charlotte and
the women did take a hit though. The women, come on, man. The women did take a hit. Like
the women did take a.
They still
good
haven't
hit
recovered.
For a while, but I don't think they've recovered entirely. But
they are
they've
getting
had
better
good
now.
Stars since. It's not like they've been completely flat.
It hit a lull. I mean, like even at NXT Lowell the other night, the worst match of the night was the women's match, which is like
with Kyrie Sane.
Opposite of 2 years ago. 2 years or 3 years ago. 2 years ago would have been, wow, the women's match stole the whole show, or it was the top 3 match. Now, they're at the bottom again.
Yeah, the women's division is definitely not as strong as it ever was in the beginning. But now that they're also doing the second round of the Mae Young Classic, there's certainly options and opportunities to bring more people in. So
you think everybody's losing the belts in the Disputed Era?
I kind of think so. It's just a odd random pick. I'm going with my continuation of the SummerSlam predictions where I made asinine picks as well, and just going off of feelings and some bad intel.
Who's Adam Cole wrestling again? I don't know why it's blanking out.
He's taking on Ricochet.
Yeah, that's right, Ricochet. So maybe
that has a chance to be match of the night for me as well. I think that could be really good as well.
Let's hope that is match of the night, because I think it has to be, because I think Velveteen Dream versus Pete Dunne at NXT Lowell. Again, if you missed NXT Lowell, obviously you did because you're not in Lowell, Massachusetts. Velveteen Dream and Pete Dunne stole the show. I don't know if Velveteen Dream has the same chemistry with EC3. So I feel like that match will be like okay, but it won't be. But I'm telling you, man, they gotta book Pete Dunne and Velveteen in a match because it's so goddamn good. Yeah, so let's hope the Ricochet dude is so entertaining as well, especially when he's in there with the right guy. So we're slowing down. We got to move quick. So let me just go ahead and say that I'll agree with you, man. I think tag belts go away, go to Mustache Mountain, and I think maybe Ricochet wins the belt as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Undisputed Era thing might not happen. That's kind of like a side bet, but I do think Mustache Mountain, like you said, will win, and Ricochet will win as well. So, I mean, and to answer what it said in the chat, they just had a new Undisputed Era shirt.
Take over for 1 second. I'm right there.
Yeah, we've seen new, shirts come out all the time, and they break up tag teams. Look at Y2AJ. They had that shirt, I think, for 8 days. It does happen. And I know it's kind of an outsider thing and saying like, oh, Undisputed Era, but they are so over that even as heels, I think that they want to they could call up Cole. And it is kind of quick. It is unnecessary in a sense, but imagine if they called up everybody. That'd be a huge adrenaline shot. Yeah, that's right. Like Mikey just said, that would be to the Raw tag division. And the Authors of Pain just aren't getting it done at this point in time. It seems like Vince or possibly somebody else, high in power on Raw, doesn't feel like the Authors of Pain quite have it yet. I really, really had assumed that AOP was going to come up to Raw and just be this domineering, destructive force, and instead that's not what we've gotten whatsoever with them. We've seen them job and lose to Titus worldwide. Titus's claim to fame in the past 3 years has been tripping and sliding down the entrance ramp at the Greatest Royal Rumble. I mean, that should speak volumes to everybody. So, and yeah, they did win the titles back, but I think they were going ahead to have them win the titles back just so that they can drop them again at this show. I think they wanted to, because if they had the first match where Undisputed Era lost, they lost the titles. And then if they lost the following, at the TV rematch, there'd be no way for them to have a rematch again at the TakeOver pay-per-view. So they just had to win it back then to lose it again now. Kind of a hot potato essence, but it does keep the feud going without having to have any disqualifications or outside interference. And they can't say, oh, well, you got your rematch. It keeps the story going. It keeps people moving and kind of keeps things fresh. NXT Women's Championship, Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane. To me, this is probably the hardest one to call of the night, honestly. I mean, with the others, we've had some reasonable explanations, but this is, the rematch of the finals from the first Mae Young Classic. And I honestly, don't know which way to go here. I keep kind of justifying each female competitor to win. We saw Baszler look even better since taking on Ember Moon back in New Orleans. Wasn't a great match, but she has gotten a bit better. And can she topple Kairi Sane? I don't know. I don't really know in a booking stance where they want to go from here. I'm kind of at a loss. I since we're already seeing the titles change hands in my mind with the North American Championship and the Tag Team Championship, I say Shayna Baszler retains. There's also a speculative rumor right now going around that we might see the 4 Horsewomen versus the 4 Horsewomen at Survivor Series or possibly Evolution. So if they wanted to do that, I can picture Shayna Baszler retaining the title until then, so she retains tonight and holds on to the belt until that point. Interesting regardless, but I'm not really sure where they would go unless I'd like Kairi Sane to win. I'm not that into Baszler's in-ring action so far. Her moveset is decent, but I wouldn't want to say she's green at all because that's not it. But she certainly needs a bit of, a few more matches. I don't think any of the feuds she's had so far have been that defining or impressive. Unfortunately.
My bad. I'm back. Somebody.
I was saying with Shayna Baszler, I said everything she's done so far has been okay. It's not been great. Nothing's been that overly fantastic or
she's just
wowing to me.
She's a brute.
Yeah, and her moveset is a bit limited in my eyes. She's not bad, and I don't want to call her green by any means, but I feel like she still needs that one definitive feud, that big match for her. She needs her Bayley to her Sasha kind of idea.
Right.
But I'm not sure where they're going to go tonight because I can see her retaining and I can see Kairi winning. So who do you think is going to go ahead and win here for the NXT Women's Championship?
This is a tough one too because I feel like they want to get her involved maybe with Ronda. Maybe.
Yeah, it seems like that's the speculation at this point that either Evolution or Survivor Series will get that 4 Horsewomen versus 4 Horsewomen match.
But that could still take a while, so she could still be champion. But she could even be champion when that happens, to be honest. I don't really enjoy her that much. Sometimes it's like she's almost there. Like she's almost believable to me, but not quite there yet. Like a lot of what she does, I don't quite believe it yet. Even her interviews, her presence, she's really close though. And it's weird because when Ronda's in the ring fighting with somebody, I actually believe her more. It's the weirdest thing. I
agree with you there.
But yet she's gone through the system way in a different way. I don't know, but she's okay. But I'd rather see the NXT title on a Kairi Sane and I mean the two of them together is good because she's so power that she just looks like she's killing Kairi Sane at some points. Even last night I just saw her brutalize this girl. I was like, wow, man. But I don't know. I'm gonna say that she holds on to the belt.
Yeah, that's where I'm going, especially because of in how I've booked it so far, seeing Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era both lose their titles.
Yeah,
you don't predict there being that many title changes. So, and then finally, last match on the card, huge card here we have Champa versus Gargano, last man standing match. It was supposed to be a triple threat, as we know. Aleister Black with the severe groin injury, he did have surgery. He'll be out of action for an unknown amount of time. So the third installment has now been changed to a last man standing match, 1-on-1. Tommaso Ciampa's the NXT champion at this point in time.
I got to tell you, man, in Lowell the other night, when Johnny Gargano, when Johnny came out at the end, when Ciampa waffled Dijak. By the way, Dijak's name isn't Dijak or Dijak anymore. It's Dominic Dijakovic.
Oh yeah, I remember. I had heard that they were changing it, but
when they announced him, I said, "Who the fuck? What did you just say?" And it wasn't until I got home that I realized his name had been changed to Dominic Dijakovic.
Dijakovic.
Like, what the fuck? Like, kind of, what is wrong with them, dude? Biff Busick, Oni Lorcan, Dijak, Dominic Dijakovic. What the fuck? But anyway, so when he came out there to save him, I was like fired up, like very like, and I mean, I am so jaded on this stuff, and I mean, I was like cheering, like this is gonna be awesome, like that's what it felt, and not so much like I'm a little kid, like yeah, get him, you know. Of course, it's more of a like, wow, this is awesome, like this is pretty, cool.
This is impressive,
yeah, like this is great, and I'm excited, kind of. So the fact that they were able to mark me out like that at Lowell, it just tells me, man, Champa is, and he's got that knee brace on. He kind of reminiscent of Stone Cold. You know, he looks like Steve Austin when he's stomping on people, and he's such a dick.
He certainly has that.
He really does.
Motif.
I mean, I don't think he'll have. Obviously, he doesn't quite have. That's the good thing. That's the weird thing about Champa. Is, you know, Austin had this charisma that was like fucking so badass that it was crazy that you liked him in a way, in a large way. I don't think Champa has that. He has a really bad guy, like a real heel to him. So when, I don't know if it's possible for him to get to that sort of charisma that Stone Cold had, but he does have the feeling of like whatever Stone Cold was supposed to be as a heel and stay as a heel. Whenever they were surprised that, wow, people are cheering for this guy, I don't think Ciampa's going to be at that point. They might cheer for him out of respect for things, but people cheered for Stone Cold out of this sort of like euphoria about him. I don't think Ciampa doesn't have that.
To boo. That's
yeah. Ciampa doesn't have won't have a euphoria that flips people, I don't think, but he does have like whatever they wanted Steve Austin to be as a heel. Like Ciampa is doing that. Like it's really wild. I mean, this is in front of all the fans that know everything about everything and whatever, and they're still booing him like he touched their sister. Like it's the weirdest thing.
Oh yeah, they want to rip him apart.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, this is so good, man. This couldn't be any better. In 2018 to have something like this working like this is really pretty goddamn amazing.
Yeah, and this is one of the best stories / feuds we've had in quite some time.
Yeah, this is one of the best feuds. Like this is like
main roster included, obviously.
This is better than Bayley and Sasha, because even Bayley and Sasha, like they had two great matches that like, you know, that I still think those matches might even be better, but this feud is so badass that it's like, wow, like this is up there on my list of like, I'm going to go back and watch that feud again. Like I don't do that with almost anything anymore.
Yeah, no, you only watch a match here or there. You don't go back and watch a series of matches to tell a whole story.
Right. Do you think that
everybody kind of predicts that this is going to be a draw? You know, most of the chat has said it. We've said it previously. I can't help but feel the same way. I don't know if they could have Gargano lose and then still get another shot at the title. If it's just, and there's no way really to cheat here in a last man standing match, because I mean,
it ends in a big spot. It ends in like, I'm gonna do something to kill you. Basically, I'm gonna kill myself to kill you. Like this has all the makings of a power bomb off the top rope through like 3 tables, and like neither guy gets up,
and they both can't respond to the ref's count of 10.
Like you know, Moro's like, fucking, my God, what Johnny Gargano won't do, don't do this to yourself, and he puts himself. You know, they go through the tables, and neither man can get up.
And I think that's exactly how it's going to play out too. Gargano is going to be the one to incapacitate himself in the effort to take out Champa. So
yeah.
There's nothing he won't, the same way when he interfered in the title match, the same idea to stop Gargano from using the belt. He won him the match, and I think that's going to be like the same kind of play. So certainly it's going to be epic regardless. They're very creative with what they've done so far. I mean, pulling up the ring, that was next level genius. And it's such a simple thing to do. It really was, but I marked out for that like no other.
Well, by the way, speaking of ring, you mentioned this, a power bomb that takes you through the mat. If these guys were big guys, the way that these end sometimes is you choke slam each other through the ring, and then they don't get up on the count of 10 either one again. I think they did that recently. Obviously, I hope they don't do that, but
yeah,
look for something. I mean, I would really look for some kind of crazy spot to end the match on a draw, but maybe it won't. Maybe we will. Maybe that won't happen. Maybe Johnny Gargano will catch Champa here, and this will be the
And when he goes to get his rematch, then that's when Aleister Black gets his rematch as well at War Games.
Yeah, and it's like I almost feel like they're going like old school here. They're going old school, and it's like Gargano will never catch Ciampa. Like that's the goal. Is kind of like it never happens. It only happens when it has to happen. Like when it's like, because even now, even though I want Gargano to win, like in a way, I don't yet. I'm not ready for this to be over. I feel like even though this is Brooklyn, you think this is where it should be over. I feel like I'm not ready for it yet, even though. Like, typically, I'm not in favor of a draw, and I don't want that to happen. I just want to see Gargano get him eventually.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm ready for some crazy shit to continue with story. So, as a person behind the scenes, I would want them to continue telling this,
Yeah, because when they first met up, had one-on-one, head-to-head here against each other, in their feud sense, I should say, because they fought before that. They were at the cruiserweight and stuff. But still, when they went, in their first go, I wanted Mr. Johnny Wrestling to win in the worst way possible. I was so consumed by this feud. I wanted him to get revenge on Ciampa in the worst way possible. And that's what, made it so epic. Tonight, I don't know... I'd like to see Johnny win, but I'm okay if he doesn't. I just don't want him to be out of the picture.
Right.
So they have to handle this carefully.
Yeah, as long as
he could win. He could win this, and that continues the feud, like we said. Then Ciampa gets his rematch. But I feel like it loses a little bit of that polish, a little bit of that shine, if that's what happens.
Yeah, I would assume that these two, this feud ends in a career match, or like loser leaves NXT match.
Yeah.
And the belt's on the line, like that would be really pretty crazy. Like everything's on the line, the belt and your situation in NXT. So if Ciampa loses, he loses the belt and he's out of NXT. If Gargano loses, he's out of NXT, and that either one of those is plausible to happen. So, he could end up leaving and never winning that belt, and that would be really amazing. And here's the double thing. One, Ciampa being out of NXT and Gargano winning the belt would be an awesome moment for him. I feel like that's the payoff. That's the moment that you wait for. And then Ciampa goes to the main roster, and then they can continue telling their story up on the main roster if that's what's going to happen. But the other thing is that Ciampa defeats Gargano and he has to leave or whatever, and when Gargano is on the main roster, Ciampa shows up somehow, somewhere, some point, and they literally have a match for the NXT belt, but on the main roster. That would be pretty wild there, and Gargano wins it like at WrestleMania in the opening match or something like that. Like things like that, you could do that. I don't necessarily like that, to be honest, but that's just something I could see them thinking about. But I much rather like the first thing I said, so we'll see if that happens.
Talking on mute. Yeah, that would be.
I know you got to get out of here too.
I think
so
that would be really. That would be really cool.
Yeah,
but
maybe not though. I don't know.
It could work. A lot of these things could work too. And like people had mentioned in the chat, and we still have who attacked Aleister Black. It was Rikishi. That kind of. He did it for The Rock.
Well, you could have it be Gargano, and if Ciampa's out of the company, you could reveal that it actually was Gargano because he was so obsessed with wanting to get to Ciampa himself.
That's cool.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And he even tries, and then you have a face versus face thing there, and
I didn't do it because I didn't like you. I did it because I needed to get to him myself. I couldn't have you in the way. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing though with this. They open up so many possibilities and then they explore them. On Raw, they would just end up becoming a tag team again.
Right.
It would be a draw. They'd walk out hugging and then have a picnic in the middle of the ring. So, well, no matter what, definitely going to be an exciting night tonight. 5 really good matches. My actual prediction for the main event, though, I think it's going to be a draw. That's my final prediction.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I'm going with a draw as well to continue this thing. And that's about it, man. Do we miss anything else? There's somebody said maybe the United Kingdom. I mean, I know Pete Dunne was in Lowell, so you think this is a last-minute ad, or did I miss something?
That usually they do things before Takeover begins. And then they air it Wednesday or the Wednesday after for the NXT show. So I think they might have the UK title defense on that essentially pre-show.
Right.
And I think that could be it. So, but we'll see. Yeah, no, the only card that I have is the 5 matches that we went over. So,
all right. Well, bam, there it is, guys. What do you think in the chat? Let me look to the chat now. Jake might have to go, but
I do indeed. But I will talk to you guys soon. We'll catch you tonight for the review.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on, and I'll see you tonight.
Thank you so much. Stay sexy, everybody.
All right, baby. There's Jake DeMarco coming on to give his point of view. He's got to go. You think Candice LeRae? I mean, we've been wondering if that would happen. I always thought like she's going to tell him stop, Johnny. You know, I think that's the next feud, though. To be honest, I think the next feud is where Candice LeRae is like, please, like Johnny, don't do this, and like I just wish he'd stop, or like she does an interview about how she wants him to stop. But they sort of tried doing that with Candice recently, a little while back. They said, you know, what do you think about Johnny's blah blah blah, and she said that she wasn't really here to talk about Johnny, that she was focused on her career and what she was doing, and Johnny has to do his own thing. That's what she said last time. So it would be kind of a flip of character now for her to be like, please, Johnny, don't do it. You know, I don't think they want to portray her as the, you know, the desperate wife, you know, who just doesn't want her husband to get hurt type of thing. So that, you know, that would seem to go against that. Will we see Matt Riddle in the crowd tonight? I think we might. Based on all the information we know, there's a couple of people that we may see tonight, but yeah, Matt Riddle might be one of them. You might see Matt Riddle. You might see Matt Riddle get in a scuffle with somebody, the North American champion, whoever it is, whether it's Adam Cole or EC3 or Adam Cole. I would book it if Riddle was there, that they kind of bump into him on the outside and shove him over, and then he shoves back or something, and that's kind of everything right there. But that's just me. They don't tend to like rush these things, though. They tend to like show the guy, and then it takes a while to see him show up. But if it was me to build intrigue, I would do that. But that's just me. Yeah, they don't want one true hitman. Yeah, they don't want her, Candice, portrayed as like a damsel in distress, or like, yeah, that type of thing. Although that's not really that, because she's concerned about his health or whatever. But it's still sort of like a female trait I don't think they want her to portray, but maybe they will. Maybe they'll go there. Probably be better than SummerSlam. I'll tell you, NXT Lowell the other night was so good. It's going to be hard to beat. Pete Dunne versus... The match I saw between Velveteen Dream and Pete Dunne is going to be tough to beat, in my mind. Do I think Takeover would be better than Slammiversary? Yeah, I think so. But Slammiversary was all right. But I enjoy the Takeovers better than anything. I enjoy NXT better than any other show at this moment. My one critique of NXT is always that I feel like they could have one more match, but I feel like they don't want to have any fluff at all. And even on these takeovers, sometimes there's the one match like, that match wasn't the best. You know, that match was kind of all right. You know, and I don't think they want more, like one or two of those. So they don't go for quantity, they go for quality. They really try to hit a home run with every match. And that's why a lot of times there's like 4 or 5 matches. Or a lot of times there's 5, I think. 5 or 6. They really don't stay away from doing 7 or 8 matches in the takeovers. I don't even know what the most amount of matches there's been in a takeover. I want to say the most amount of matches they've had at a takeover is 6. I mean, because they're shooting the taping for NXT. The first hour is shooting NXT, taping for the next week, and then they do probably one more match that's like a pre-show match, and then they come out with their 4 top show matches or 5 top matches. What's up, Big Time Breaks? What's up, Jace? Yeah, I think match of the night is probably going to be either the main event, obviously, or Adam Cole and Ricochet. We're really looking at Adam Cole and Ricochet. The tag team match I would expect to be really solid. Could be a 8 out of 10 match. The main event also could be 8 out of 10 match, maybe 8.5, hopefully. And it's possible that Adam Cole and Ricochet could reach that 9 out of 10 level. For me, 9.5 out of 10. Maybe. If they do that, then wow. But we'll see, man. Maybe we could have a dud, man. Not many. I think there's been 1 or 2 takeovers that you went, oh, that was okay. 7 out of 10 takeover. I don't think I've ever given a takeover lower than 7 out of 10. I don't think I've ever done it. So expectations are positive to be above a 7.5 tonight. And but we'll see. Anyway, guys, I'm going to bump out of here. But I appreciate everybody being in here to listen to the predictions. If you missed them from the beginning, go back and watch this from the beginning. It'll be up here for you. Hope you guys hit that like button. Stick it straight up my ass. Also, tonight on my Patreon, guys, patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show, we have a all-star lineup Corrupted podcast tonight. Justin Bailey returns again. Jesse, Ken, Filthy, and myself. A huge all-star fucking heavily powered Corrupted podcast tonight. Plus, before that, I will be live after NXT Takeover right here to review NXT Takeover, take your phone calls, and to talk about NXT tonight after Takeover. Join me live here on the Joe Cronin Show. If you're new, hit that sub button down below. Don't miss out on my daily wrestling videos, news, and everything else. Enzo Amore. Is Enzo Amore returning to WWE? A lot of news that Enzo is going to make a return at SummerSlam tomorrow. I don't buy it myself, but it is speculation that is out there, and that is a really weird thing. Interesting. So I'll see you tonight for that. Then we'll see you on Patreon. Become a patron, guys. If you're a patron of $5 to $10, you'll get almost everything, pretty much everything, at a $5 or $10 tier a month, 30 hours a month. But if you just want to hear the Corrupted podcast tonight, it's only $1 a month. $1 a month. That's $1 a month. That's $12 a year to hear over hundreds of hours of bonus podcasts and content from me and my shows. So check out Corrupted tonight. Don't miss it. There's going to be some mudslinging tonight. It's going to be fucking wild. We've never done this before, ever, on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show at 1 in the morning. Technically, it's Sunday, but whatever. You get the idea. It's tonight. All right. We'll see you guys later. Download the Patreon app, too, by the way. It makes everything way easier for you in a way. Johnny Gargano, Champa. It's going to happen. I think certainly a draw where Gargano just does something crazy to put his own life at risk with Champa as well to take him out. And he goes too far and they take each other out. So, or he takes himself out and Champa out. And that's how it ends, man. It seems that that's the way to do it. All right. We'll see you tonight after NXT TakeOver, live here on the Joe Cronin Show. Thank you guys so much. Hit that like button if you liked the show. Hit the dislike if you didn't like it. And I'll see you on Twitter. My new Twitter account right now is I'm functioning on the Corrupted Twitter account if you need to get a hold of me, at CorruptedPod, CorruptedPod. Otherwise, check out my Instagram, instagram.com/Joe Cronin Show. If you want to see my Joe Dog skits, you're going to have to follow me on those places because obviously I am perma-banned on Twitter for a joke I made 4 years ago that wasn't even bad at all. So that's the censorship of this country and this world right now. I'm banned for being banned. So there it is, man. Support me on JoeCroninShow.net as well. Check out the website, JoeCroninShow.net. If you shop on Amazon and you use Amazon regularly to buy things, use my link. My link is on the top of my website, JoeCroninShow.net. If you use my link, I actually get credit for your sale. So you can make the show money that way and keep me doing what I'm doing here. All right, I'm out. There's all the plugs at the end of the show, man. I'm the opposite of Jericho. Jericho does them all at the beginning. I did them all at the end, motherfucker. I'll see you tonight, guys. And my donations will be active tonight on the show. I know they weren't during the show, so sorry to the couple people that mentioned it. Take over.